welcome to the Engadget stage here at CES 2016. We wore those shirts. We tried real hard to wear those shirts. Joining me here is Terrence O'Brien and Michael Gorman. Some of the great three, I guess.
The big three.
The people
the greatest.
The greatest.
Yeah, I think that's a better way to put it.
We've already failed. A lot of people didn't continue wearing them, but I feel like we three.
We tried.
We tried.
We did better than most, at
True.
the very least.
Yes. I got a full day's worth of data.
How's that data treating you?
Not well. Apparently, I'm going to have a heart attack at any given point in time. I'm not sure if it was tracking my stuff in the most accurate way, but I know that like my heart rate was up in like over 150 for most of the time that I had the shirt on.
That sounds like CES.
Yeah.
So let's start and talk about how there's a whole thing into putting these shirts on,
Yeah.
and not even exclusive to Hexoskin, the shirts we all
Yeah.
wore, but the connections are very important and they have to be really tight. So
Yes.
go.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I felt like I was wearing Spanx all week.
Yeah.
It was like a wearable lap band surgery, basically.
Yeah, I think that those shirts are really the only people they're flattering on are like professional athletes.
Hate those people.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, my stomach is moved into my chest permanently. But I mean, also, while you can wear them, you're not supposed to, right?
That's okay. So yeah. So we all the first day I wore that shirt like I meant it.
Yep.
I had like chafing.
I rarely wear shirts like I mean it. I'm just kind of half-assing my shirts.
into
yeah.
the shirt. That sounds like you.
You just
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it for professional reasons.
Yeah.
So it's very important. There are these bands that he talked about in the video. And the sensors are key because they collect your heart rate and respiration.
Yep.
And in the app, it is cool when it's on and synced. You can actually see yourself breathe, which
It
is
spikes
weird.
when you breathe deep. That's a little creepy.
Yeah.
I was like,
But
every time.
so the problem was they have to be so tight, and they would say dampen the sensors, right? I found out, I wore the thing 24 hours without getting it to work.
Yeah.
And then I realized dampen meant just make it totally soaking wet.
Yeah.
And then it got it to work.
Well, because ironically, I mean, the shirts are meant to be working out, so I guess it makes sense that they would work better when you sweat. I think
Apparently,
it's kind of based on that
exercise is good.
principle. Go figure. Who needs that?
There is none of that at CES.
No.
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 It's a lot of bad food, though.
But there's walking.
yeah.
For
Lots
some of you.
walking. Yeah.
So how did you both use the shirt?
I mean, I guess I squeezed myself into it, and I wore it around for the entire day on Sunday when we were doing some of the big pre-show events. So I was running around Mandalay Bay and showstoppers and stuff. We did some run-throughs at the stage, but mostly it was sitting and
typing?
Sitting and
Okay.
typing at the trailer. So, but even still, like I was checking in on my heart rate and everything every so often, and my resting heart rate is normally like pretty good, like normally high 50s. It's been like almost 80 the entire week so far.
It's good to know. Michael, how about you?
So first off, I just want to say I love that there is a how-to video how to put on a shirt for these things.
This of all of the shirts though that needs a how-to
do need
video,
it.
this one.
As you could see in the video earlier, Christopher Trout was having some real problems just putting the thing on.
Okay, they're going to roll it behind us.
Yeah.
So enjoy.
So you'll see that. You'll see
enjoy
that
Chris Trout's naked torso again.
the
You're
struggle.
welcome.
The struggle is real, y'all. But I put it on, and I was wearing I did a little bit more moving around, I think, than Terrence did. It's largely kind of uncomfortable. Like the fact that they have the sensors, like the one right across your chest and the other one across, like there's seams in the bands that kind of rub you in places you might not want to be rubbed, let's say. It chafes a little bit. That's
Nobody
basically
wants
what
it.
I'm getting at.
Let's look at your information
can
on
see
the
what I
app.
did
I
here.
want to see how Michael actually did, because
Yes.
the self-reporting it never works out like you
No.
hope.
So we can see I have my one day. All I did was work,
Good
which
job.
is appropriate for
Good
CES.
job with the working.
So you can see my heart rate spiked at 202, apparently.
That is pretty much like cardiac arrest. You
Don't
were about to
die on us, please. You might
Yep.
witness the death of our editor-in-chief.
This is my last CES. Yeah, so it looks like that was only for 9 minutes. Most of the
just 9
time
minutes.
it was resting, for most of the time I was around in the 70s. it
That's
looks like.
terrifying. I didn't realize it was that high.
Well, I think that might have been a little bit because because mine was working, I didn't have to wet the sensors or anything. So it was picking it up, but I talked to the Hexoskin folks very briefly about that, and they're like, you may not get as accurate a results if it's not wet. So mine was functional, but it
I
wasn't
see.
functioning
I see.
properly, it sounds like.
So I slept in mine because I needed somebody to sleep in it because that was my whole thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
no one's going to. So I
Sure.
finally dampened the whole thing, got into bed, froze, and slept for 5.5 beautiful CES hours. And it picked it up. It's actually really cool. There is something about data that's just really cool to see.
It's
Yeah.
really gratifying. Like, even if it's not particularly useful in the immediate, like, because you have to figure out a way to act upon that data. But it's still very gratifying to just see, yes, I slept exactly that many hours. I was
Yeah.
in a very restful sleep for this portion of it.
It was terrible. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's terrible sleep.
Yeah.
So how was sleeping it in the shirt?
It was fine.
You weren't
I know.
uncomfortable?
I was totally because right. Think about it. You're moving a lot less. So I was getting chafed before when I wore it for
Sure.
that entire day because all the movement. But yeah, sleeping what? Nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Just tossing and turning.
I find that really
Yes.
hard to believe. But
I
good
swear
on
it
you.
was fine.
Yeah.
So let's talk about and the other reason we wanted to wear these shirts is because there is this trend. Wearables are going to be in fabric. It's
Yep.
not going to chafe for much longer.
Let's hope not.
Yeah.
Have you seen any other things like that or interested in other things? Terrence, I know you've tried other wearable shirts.
Yeah, I tried out. Polo has a very similar one. It's a much thicker fabric. You're definitely not fitting it underneath anything. Like this,
No.
at least, is a pretty thin fabric. You
Yeah.
could wear it under normal human clothes.
That was the nice thing, yeah.
So that was good. Like nobody necessarily would know I was wearing it underneath everything. The Polo one's a significantly thicker fabric. And they're all very similar in that they have these sensors built in, and a weird thing, their sensor doesn't plug in. It has like snaps that you have to do,
Ugh, snaps.
which is like weird. It's like trying to
Ugh.
it's like trying to buckle jeans on the side of your body. It's not great.
So, okay.
So what I'm hearing is that we've got a ways to go before wearables that you are clothing or not quite there yet.
I think the big thing that a lot of them are going to have to figure out, though, is this comfort thing. Like, because this is a step in the right direction. You know, the Polo one isn't, like, abysmal. I didn't put it on and immediately go, oh, God, this has to come off,
Yeah.
except for when I saw myself in the mirror, which is a very different story.
Nobody wants to hear it. Sorry, y'all.
This is not a therapy session for your
No,
body
please,
positions,
God, just
Terrence.
because it's a couch. So just to say, it was a challenge for us. We wanted to wear them as long as possible, but the idea behind them is that you wear them for a workout and you take it off. So then
Yeah.
it's probably nothing bad is happening.
Because I was going to say, like, when I wore mine for the full day, I mean, the little tracking brain in the shirt was out of juice by the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have been able to wear it to sleep in even if I wanted to. You got to choose one or the other.
That is a good time to tell you about what's going on with Hexoskin.
Let's
Um,
hear it.
So that shirt that we wore was actually launched about 2 years ago.
Okay.
But at this CES, they have a new one, which is basically the same, and even the computer, the module, looks the same, but it has a much longer battery life. So that must have been a complaint they'd heard.
Very important.
So if you are interested in Hexoskin, you can get the shirt and a kit for $400.
Yeah.
Some people want multiple shirts, like serious athlete types.
Yeah.
Like me and you.
Well, you're not doing laundry every day. You can't be wearing a
Right.
stinky shirt.
That you need to be damp.
Yeah.
Just the shirt is $169.
Okay.
What's cool about these shirts is NASA astronauts wear them. A bunch of professional athletes wear them. They have deals with other like people where they need these metrics
Yeah.
at all times.
To
You know,
improve their performance. And what have you.
astronauts.
Yeah.
So say you are applying to be an astronaut in the space program and you're rejected ridiculously, you can wear a shirt and feel almost as good.
Yeah, you can practice.
Practice. Discover the moon.
It is. It's very good to practice.
Yeah. Practice being an astronaut by wearing a shirt.
I do it every day. I've got like a helmet that I put on. I walk around my apartment.
That's
With
good.
it on. It's
While
pretty
you're
cool.
shirtless, though.
Scare the crap out of my
apparently.
dogs. It's good.
Any final thoughts? Health tracking, future.
So I feel like for what we did, I think it's pretty clear given that Hexoskin actually has their stuff on astronauts and people that are professionals and care about.
Yeah, I
their
mean, and
bodies.
I think that's sort of the thing is a lot of this stuff, even though it's cool to see at CES and we're trying it out, it's not really made for the average person. Like all of this stuff, like it's really expanding this idea of wearables and all of the data you're collecting, and it's useful to people like NASA, but ultimately, a lot of it is probably going to be lost on the average American who just wants to go out and go for a run and call it a day.
Right. And they just want their heart rate
Yeah.
Yeah.
in their little
Like,
wristband.
Yeah.
This is good
Yeah.
enough.
But I mean, it is interesting. You know, I think as the technology gets better, battery life gets better, everything gets smaller, the circuits are better, and sensors are better integrated into the clothing. You know, I mean, we've been seeing this for a few years now, where we see the shirts coming out. Hexoskin's a couple years old, but it's getting better. I think that's the big takeaway. I mean, if you'd have shown that shirt 5 years ago, none of that would have been possible. So in
Right.
another 5 years, it may be more like a regular shirt where you've got conductive thread running through it and sensors that are just woven into it, and it's far less obtrusive for folks wearing it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the day when, so the Sleep Number bed that's here at CES, you
Yeah.
know how they have the sensors in it where it can track your heart rate and all those biometrics?
Yep.
So theoretically, we're going to be so like scanned and measured, and there's going to be an app that culls it all. Good times.
What a magical future that will be.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us here at Engadget CES. We have way more coming at you, and our live show continues through Saturday. So you'll see this is just going to go downhill.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
prediction.
We're all going to start looking more and more ragged with each day.
I don't
Dark
know.
circles under our eyes.
You already do.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself. I only get better with Edge.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.
See ya.